Hi, this is Linda, and in this video I'm going to show and share one of my favorite projects I ever did, which was in fact for myself. This was my own tiny little condo kitchen makeover in Duxbury, Massachusetts, and as you can see, it was a tiny little kitchen with nasty naughty pine cabinets, very dated, a mishmash of very inefficient appliances and no storage whatsoever. So the place was always cluttered, it wasn't efficient, it wasn't a happy place to be, and I needed to do something about it. And as you can see, very small. So I didn't have a lot of budget at the time, and I set about creating a challenge for myself and how little could I spend to get the biggest impact. So I came up with a plan, and with the help of a very generous friend who spent months of Sundays coming and helping me do it, and he scraped off the entire ceiling, and even though it was a small space, it was still a big job. And I came up with a design plan, which the concept was vaguely French country, with some natural material burlap for the new counter skirt and window treatment, Benjamin Moore's Essex green and Black Forest green, exterior trim paints for the cabinets, Farrow & Ball's cooking apple green for the ceiling and inside the cabinets, Graham & Brown's beadboard wallpaper for the walls because regular beadboard wasn't in the budget, and some pretty vintage glass knobs. And so the work, moved forward, took all the cabinets off, sanded, cleaned, painted, scraped, painted again, and I was very, very proud of how they came out. It worked really well, the paint, and I just thought it looked great. The beadboard wallpaper couldn't have been easier. It was incredibly budget friendly, and I put it up myself. For a new counter, I actually had this door in my garage. It was the perfect width and length, and even the doorknob hole served as a way to get cords from like the blender down to the outlet below. We put it on a frame, and I made a burlap sink skirt for it. Counter skirt for it. I did a gathered counter skirt, and in hindsight, I absolutely would have just done a more tailored flat skirt because the burlap was just way too heavy. Cheap, but way, way, way too heavy, and it was very hard to keep it attached. But it still looked really pretty, and it hid all sorts of good stuff unbind. And so I finished. I did add some 3 recess lights above, and that made a huge difference, which is why painting dark cabinets in a small space was okay, because it's all about the lighting. And as you can see, it really reflected well. This was a project that was done in trade. I got all of the appliances as a trade deal with a local magazine in exchange for coverage, so that was extremely lucky. So out of pocket I spent $500 plus a lot of sweat equity, and I received $3,500 in appliances, so it was really a $4,000 makeover. But it just made an entire world of difference in my space. I just would sit at the dining room table and look into the kitchen and was just, in love with my kitchen. I covered it extensively on my blog, and the media came calling, and the Boston Globe came and took some pictures and interviewed me for a story on my process. And really my process was very much the same as I would have done for anyone. It was what are my needs and how am I going to achieve it? And then Country Women magazine called, and they are a national, small publication, but national, and they also wanted to cover my kitchen makeover. Of course, everybody highlighted the $500, which was my out-of-pocket, but all new appliances certainly made a big difference. My photographer, Michael J. Lee, had already shot the kitchen once, but they hired him to come back and reshoot to get the alcohol out of the pictures, because apparently country women don't drink. And so we reshot it as an imaginary Valentine's Day tea, because it was a February issue that it was coming out. But it showcased my process, my thought process for the project. I think it gave some great tips on the planning and creating function and creating beauty within a budget. And it was just really pretty. And the counter created so much additional storage underneath with shelving. And so the kitchen was never cluttered after that, which was just such a treat. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this tour of my little condo kitchen French country makeover, and thank you so much for watching.